Hi everyone, welcome to MSCR Makes. I'm Miss Julia and today we're going to paint on ice with salt. This project you'll have to do a little bit of preparing first. You will need to wait for a sheet of ice to freeze that you'll be able to paint on. But let's get started with the things you'll need first. You'll need some water, some salt. For this project, I prefer using food coloring and some small dishes so I can have a more liquidy paint product to use. But if you don't have food coloring, but you have some watercolor, you can use that instead. You'll need a paintbrush and something to freeze your water in. For this, you can use anything that is kind of a dish. You could use a plate or a pie pan or even a cake mold. Whatever works so that it fits in your freezer and you can have a surface of ice to paint on. Go ahead and pause the video here so that you can gather your supplies. Now that you've had a chance to gather your supplies, I'm going to move some things out of the way. The first step of this project will take the longest. You're going to need to freeze yourself a sheet of ice. To do that, take whatever container that you're using. Remember, it can be a plate, a pie pan, a cake tin, or even a baking sheet. Go ahead and put a layer of water in the bottom. You don't need it to be too thick, maybe somewhere between 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And then you need to put this in your freezer for several hours, or even overnight. Go ahead and pause the video here so that you can get your ice ready. While you wait for it to freeze, you could try painting on some regular paper with your watercolors or your food coloring with water and see what feels different about painting on paper versus painting on ice. I'll go ahead and put this in my freezer. I did make up a sheet of ice last night so that I could show you the rest of the project today. Let me get it. Here is a sheet of ice that I just made on a regular plate. So for the rest of this project, what I'm going to do is make up a few colors of my food coloring with water. So go ahead and put some water in your small dishes. Then pick some colors of food coloring that you would like to paint with. I think I'll make one that is blue, and one that is red. So the first thing that you can do with this is, if you would like, you can try painting just on your regular ice surface. See what happens. The watercolor kind of stays on top of the ice. But another fun thing to do is grab some salt. What you can do is sprinkle the salt over your ice block. Try bunching it up in some areas and maybe even an area that has a thinner layer. Give your ice a few minutes to react with the salt. What do you notice that the salt is doing to the ice? If you look very carefully, you'll notice that the salt, where it is touching the ice, is melting the ice faster. I'll bring this up. Hopefully you can see it. If I move the salt, you'll see there are some indentations where the salt was. That's where it melted the ice faster than the rest of the block over here that didn't have salt on it. Now, what's fun to do is paint with your watercolors where the salt was. You can see that it goes into the little crevices that were melted by the salt. Now you can see the little shapes that the salt melted into the ice. If you leave it in one spot for a really long time, sometimes it will even make a big hole. I hope you enjoy exploring your salt and ice with the colors. And have fun with this project. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!